Under the lights in the Midwest, there's going to be a race here tonight that's going to dictate the top 12 in points. The win and you're in system has been dedicated all season long to those drivers that get around these racetracks the best. And live here tonight from Kentucky Speedway, it's going to be QSR Simulations Next Gen Cup Series action, the finale to the regular season here on V-Speed. It's the Turn 1 Tsunamis Kentucky 190 proof. Live here on V-Speed. Welcome in. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper, and we've been with you all season long. Camera packs provided here by Dougie Beard. So Kentucky Speedway, it's an intermediate oval that really needs no introduction, but we'll take a look at this racetrack. There we go. We were at Darlington last week, but let's look at June 6, 2000, when this racetrack opened up in Sparta, Kentucky. 14 to 17 degrees of banking in the corners, and of course a little bit shallower there on the entry of turn 1 and 2 compared to 3 and 4. 5 degrees on the tri-oval front stretch. Most likely see drivers trying to cut down below that line as they do at tracks like Las Vegas, Kansas, but not as wide down there, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult. And even pit road is curved, kind of like the backstretch at Chicagoland. So a unique racetrack. It's got its own characteristics, and hopefully you can keep it out of that turn 4 wall. That's where a lot of these drivers are going to struggle here tonight, getting the pass completed. You can get a good run off of turn 2, but getting it completed before turn 4, that is a whole different feat in itself. Taking a look at the points, though, Alan Dobbs with 2 wins. We also have Quentin Stewart there in the top 12, locked in here. Quentin Stewart, of course, getting a win at the road course there earlier in the season. He will be up in that top 3, and with the reset in points, Austin Thomas maybe not able to make it here to the postseason. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out, if they're going to give a playoff spot to another driver if he's not able to make it this playoff season. Race analysis coming up on your screen. 125 laps here tonight, 45-mile-per-hour pit road speed limit. Not a real difficult pit road to get on and off of. 3 tire sets in the pits, 2 green-white checkered attempts to 100% fuel on an iRacing fixed setup. So let's get the regular season wrapped up here tonight. And starting on the top spot, Alan Dobbs came to play. He's going to run on the top time. Pull award to the number 54, a 30.098. He beats Al Likens by 0.2 of a second for the top spot. Likens in the 3 to the outside. Your front row moving back to row number 2 with Jesse Gordon, second in the points here with Chris Otto in the 45. And then row number 3 with Austin Thomas, last week's winner. Finley Fitzsimmons in the 88 will start in 6th. 7th going to Tristan Pena in the 50. Ryan Philbrick will start in the 06 and 8th. And rounding out your top 10, it's Wyatt Walker and Austin Dowdy in the number 8. Mitchell Costner and Johnny DePasquale, one of the fan favorites here in the V-Speed chat, will start in 12th. Then it's Christian Ruck-Regal and Nicholas Caldwell starting 13th and 14th. Quentin Stewart, QSR CEO, will start in the 15th position next to Nathan Line to his outside. Davis Greenwell going to start in the 17th position. Tony Burlington will start at 18th. And that top 20, John Walker, Fred Pennington in the 40. 5 more cars to talk about here as we hit the grid. William Gay and Ethan Wisnowski will start 21st and 22nd. Back in row number 12, Dylan Picklesheimer, Galen Wunsch starting in 24th. And it's Jeremiah Nelson electing not to take a time. He will round out your field here tonight. So there's a look at last week's winner, and here's a look at the points leader coming into tonight's event. So we get set for 125 laps. Alan Dobbs said he was comfortable and confident here tonight. But I can guarantee you Jesse Gordon, Al Likens, everybody put in some time. But, you know, you get the pole by 0.2 of a second. That's a big statement as here we go for race number 13, the regular season about to come to a close. Let's go racing at Kentucky. Leading lap number 1, Dobbs gets the point. Likens falls back a little bit off the rear bumper. You can see they're off of turn 2. He lost a little bit of ground, but he's going to get that big run we were talking about in the pre-race off of turn 2. And he's going to get to the outside of your race leader, your points leader, about to become under fire. Likens, a big move out of 4 on the outside. The 3 car will lead this time by. It's going to be a shootout here tonight with championship hopefuls. Likens looking for a win. Defending on the outside, top spot still up for grabs. Austin Thomas, last week's winner, battling for 3rd spot on Jesse Gordon out of 4. Gordon falls back to 4th. Still side by side for the lead. Likens by 0.03 of a second across the line that time for lap number 3. Loses a little bit of ground there off of turn 2. Back and forth for the top spot. Dobbs can't get it. A nose advantage. Hard on the brakes to keep that car down low. Likens keeps it off the wall. 0.01 of a second yet again for Likens. They're going to get really close here off of turn 2. Likens again by maybe a couple hundredths of a second. He is just edging out on Alan Dobbs to keep that lead. What a great battle up front. We had a car go sideways, and I want to say it was Davis Greenwell at the start of this race. He fell back a little bit. There was also Ryan Philbrick in the 06, so it was either the 06 or the 20. I want to say it was Philbrick. He had lost 6 positions. Now Alan Dobbs, though, has the lead. Now he's going to lead by 100th of a second. Back and forth for the top spot already. 3 lead changes. And moving up through the field already, Tristan Pena up 3 positions on board with the 50 car. He's going to drop back to 5th now as the 110 gets to the inside, but a crossover. Getting back to the outside again here in the entry of 3. Or the exit of 4, and now into the entry of 1. Battle back here with Philbrick, who's trying to recover his positions. He has Nicholas Caldwell in the 12th spot just in front. And Austin Dowdy, who started in the top 10, has already fallen back to the 15th spot. Going the wrong way quickly for the 8 car. A look to the inside of Johnny DePasquale. Few cars off the pace. Philbrick approached the 11 there out of turn 4. Wasn't able to get the nose inside. Pena back to the inside of the 110. Gordon made a little mistake there across the tri-oval, falls back to the clutches of Chris Otto in the 45. Likens able to take a commanding lead here. It was side by side for quite a few laps. Now the 3-car finally able to run his own line. And he's preferring the bottom. And he made that top work really well. Might have made the 54 use up his stuff in that defense. So live action here from QSR Simulations. Winston Racing, Walker's Ridge Plantation. Everybody here with one of Goods and all the sponsors here watching this regular season unfold. Who would have thought Al Likens here tonight would have such a great car? He's had some struggles in the regular season, to say the least. This one looking like it might just come to fruition. And we forgot to mention there in the pre-race on that race analysis, the stage lap. Stage at lap 37 here tonight. So keep an eye out for that. We're just about halfway through stage number 1. Dobbs falling back a little bit. Pena is going to go to work on Austin Thomas. The 110 battling with the 45. Now up to 5th position for Chris Otto. Fitzsimmons also trying to work back to where he started this race. On board with the 88. Battle in front of the 88 now for 5th position again. Jesse Gordon trying to figure out his way around the 45 and the Cinnamon Toast Crunch machine. And the battle for the lead heating up with the 3 of Likens. 54 of Dobbs was all over the back end. Gonna get a big run out of 4 here. We'll get the nose to the outside. Will he have the advantage down the backstretch? Looks like Dobbs does. He'll take the point back. Another lead change here. The send to the inside. Can Likens make it stick? He's sliding up the racetrack. Dobbs this time by about 200ths. Move back there to the outside. Pass for position. I believe that's Ruck Regal. Also had Nicholas Caldwell in the 11 make a pass on Philbrick, so he'll move up to 12th position. This Ruck Regal looking to the inside of Quentin Stewart. This is for 9th. Here comes the 33. Podium finish last week. It's been a while since we had a chance to talk to Ruck Regal. He's looking to try to do that back-to-back weeks. Right now, just trying to get into the top 10. Still side by side with Stewart. On board with the number 99. Pretty sizable gap up here to Mitchell Costner in the 92. About 7/10 of a second to catch up to the 8th position driver as he defends against Ruck Regal. Battles deeper in the field between Wisnowski and Burlington. There's a look at the 79 to the outside, scrapes the wall just a little bit. Wisnowski finds the inside through 1 and 2. He tags the apron a little bit. Another one of our podium finishers last week in the 5 car. Close battle for 17th. Wisnowski still on the inside. He'll clear just enough there. He could have came up. Send to the inside. Burlington says no. He'll keep the nose there on the right rear. Might have to cut him a break. It's Dobbs who takes over the top spot now by a full second. Likens led a few laps. They went back and forth since the start. And now Dobbs showing why he's the points leader. Likens falling back a little bit here. This is on board with the driver of the 3. And a lot going on in that room, a lot on the wall. He's got plaques, trophies, die casts, a little bit of everything going on back there in the corner. Car in the wall in the background, that was Chris Otto. 45 falling back now, down a spot. Tristan Pena still hanging around the top 5. Austin Thomas half a second ahead of the 50. And Davis Greenwell in a tight battle. Stewart, Caldwell. This is all accordion back together within the last couple laps. That's Ryan Philbrick to the inside. Clean cut 06, trying to get by Caldwell. They're going to get a run on Greenwell here out of turn 4. Can Caldwell cut down the racetrack? He can't do it in time. He'll still get to the outside. Greenwell moves up in front of him. And a little bit of contact here going into 1. Pulling the side force off of that 20 car. It pulled him back just enough for the 11 to get to that right-hand side. Remember, this is for 9th position. Philbrick going to crack the top 10 now as the 06 gets by. Clearing a path behind the 11. Still side by side off of turn 4. Greenwell going the wrong direction. He's up 6. But he lost a ton of ground right there out of 4, and now Deepa Squally will be next in line into turn 1. Some of these drivers hoping that stage comes a little bit sooner as Alan Dobbs continues to lead. That lead is shaved down a little bit here, though. It seems that Likens has reeled Dobbs back in just a 10th or 2. Last time by, About half a tenth faster. This time around, more of the same. You can look at these last lap times on the left-hand side of your screen. Likens still running a 30.9. Dobbs in the 31 category. So about a tenth of a second that Likens has shaved off. And we'll continue to watch this interval with 7 laps to go from Kentucky. Race 13 of the regular season, and your points leader has led half the laps completed. Austin Thomas reeling in the 3 car for a little bit there. Thought maybe he was going to have an opportunity for a pass, but looks like this car has tightened up quite a bit. Closest battle on the racetrack is right here with Greenwell, DePasquale, and Doughty. Doughty on the reversal now of this tire wear. He's headed back to the top 10. Started in 10th. Running 13th right now. The 8 car on board with him. A little bit of a connection error here with the camera. Looks like he's driving with his eyes closed. Hope he's got him open because he's going to get a 2-for-1 special here through the tri-oval if he can get to the inside of the 20. Scrapes the wall. Doughty just trying to hold on to it. Trying to take some offense to Greenwell. Meanwhile, 4 to go in stage 1. Your top 10 with Dobbs, Likens, Thomas, Pena, Otto, then Costner, Ruck, Regal, Stewart, Caldwell, and Philbrick. Those will be points drivers. Dobbs maximizing the points. He's going to try to lead the most laps here today after starting on the pole, getting that stage win. If he can do the race win, it's a perfect day. Al Likens led the first 14. Definitely has something for Alan Dobbs, but he's going to have to figure out where Dobbs was saving and try to adapt his line, his driving style. Maybe have something for him later in this run because, 35 laps, it seems like Dobbs knows how to save. He allowed the 3 car all the room to the outside. Even let him go up there and take the lead for a little while. And it's almost hypnotizing for some of these guys to get that top spot. Austin Thomas, patient, back here in 3rd. Started 5th, up 2 spots. He's having a solid day. But it's going to be white flag in the air for Dobbs. One more time around for stage 1 at Kentucky. Race number 13. So far dominated by 1 car. 1.2 seconds ahead when we take the checkered flag. Alan Dobbs has done it again. Stage win to the 54 Red Line Toyota Camry. Off of turn 4, Alan Dobbs gets the stage. Top 10 on the left-hand side. The names didn't change. Everything kind of plateaued out. But solid run all the way back to Quentin Stewart for the top 10. He was about half a second ahead of Johnny DePasquale to finish that one out. This field spread out a lot. So catching up to the iRacing pace truck. And we'll see everybody come down pit road this time by. cleaning green. One caution here for the stage. 4 lead changes. Of course, Alan Dobbs on that top position. He'll lead them into pit road. Just a moment's time. So we bring the pace truck around through 3 and 4. $54, $3, $35, $50, and $45. All of these drivers top 12 in the points, with the exception of Pena. $54 going to be down and away. 4 tires for everyone on this stop. Stewart down with the service. Likens battle for second. Likens going to win that. Pena out in 5th. And pretty cordial on pit road for this one. Well, don't go anywhere. We have more coverage to continue of the QSR Simulations Next Gen Cup Series in the Kentucky Bourbon 190. Turn 1 Tsunamis. Back with more on V-Speed right after this.
Walking and rolling costume started when my son Reese was born with cancer.
So when I was 3 years old, I got my first wheelchair.
And he wanted to be Wall-E for Halloween that year. And so I knew you couldn't buy a costume to go on a wheelchair at that time. So I knew I had to build one.
My dad ended up building a Wall-E costume out of a Dell computer box.
When we were all finished, he loved it. We took pictures of it and shared it on social media. So many people started sharing it that we started getting requests from people we didn't know.
In 2015, we decided to build them for other kids because people were asking, hey, can you build them for my kid?
So we started the nonprofit organization, Walking and Rolling Costumes, and we build costumes for kids all over the nation, free of charge to the families.
Welcome back to our coverage live here from Kentucky. Stage number 2 just went green with Alan Dobbs on the top spot and trouble in the back of the field. It's Wyatt Walker, Jeremiah Nelson in the 48. They're still crashing down the backstretch. Dowdy gets a piece of it as well. Caution here on lap 42. Coming out of turn 2, where this begins. there. Contact with the 85, the 48, the 79, and a big stack up in the back of the field. It was Wyatt Walker, the 84 of John Walker. This is just a continuous stack up. Galen Wunsch ran into the back of Walker. Let's see if we can get an on-board shot with the 199. It's actually the 110 of Jesse Gordon that ran into the back. So we'll back this up one more time. So a lot to unpack right there. A lot of cars involved. Jesse Gordon somehow ended up in the back of this field, and I'm not exactly sure why. Problems on pit road. He had a little bit of damage, I guess, and minute 36 on the repairs. We had a lot of drivers come down just to top off with fuel just now as well. Davis Greenwell, one of those drivers, and now we're playing a little bit of strategy here. Say with 100% fuel, I'd like to think that we can make it all the way through this thing. We're going to be sitting over 80 laps to go. On a half racetrack, probably not going to be able to make it. I think I would bring it down, especially if I'm outside the top 10. Bring it down, top off with fuel here. Lights are going to go off on the pace truck this time by. Again, we'll get a look at the points here. This is subtracting the drop weeks, but not everything's accurate. Of course, drivers that are with a victory this season will be up towards the top when we hit that reset. But this is the official points based off of driving alone, finishing order, and with those stages. Alan Dobbs, Jesse Gordon, the big talk of the season. You have Likens thrown into this mix in a kind of a win situation, but could do without. He is up in the top 10 for this reset. He should be okay as long as he brings this thing home on the podium. As we line back up for our third start of the day. Alan Dobbs into turn one. Green flag back underway at Kentucky. Likens way up the racetrack here through 3 and 4. Problems in the back. Greenwell around. Nathan Line goes the wrong way, and he's going to bring out the caution here on lap 46. Contact with the 88 sends the 38 around. Fitzsimmons moves up a little bit. They were 3 wide through 3 and 4. See if we can get a better look at this. Let's take a look at it from the blimp camera. That's the 5 of Wisnowski. The 88 goes to the middle and just wiggles up the racetrack. You can see he bobbles there. Get a look on board. Watch the gyro camera actually, and watch the wheel going into 3. Just a slight touch, but enough to create problems for Nathan Line. Nathan Line now back to 23rd. I have to come down pit road and get this damage repaired. But the lights are back on the pace truck. 3 cautions, 4 lead changes. Here from Kansas, or Kentucky, rather. We're going to take another quick break here on V-Speed. You are watching the QSR Next Gen Cup Series. We'll carry on where we left off in the regular season in just a moment.
Walking and rolling costume started when my son Reese was born with cancer.
So when I was 3 years old, I got my first wheelchair.
And he wanted to be Wall-E for Halloween that year. And so I knew you couldn't buy a costume to go on a wheelchair at that time. So I knew I had to build one.
My dad ended up building a Wall-E costume out of a Dell computer box.
When we were all finished, he loved it. We took pictures of it and shared it on social media. So many people started sharing it that we started getting requests from people we didn't know.
In 2015, we decided to build them for other kids because people were asking, hey, can you build them for my kid?
So we started the nonprofit organization, Walking and Rolling Costumes, and we build costumes for kids all over the nation, free of charge to the families.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to our live coverage on QSR Simulations Next Gen Series. Last race of the regular season. A few cautions here after the stage break put us in a bound-up field. But we've got strategy again, and Ethan Wisnowski, and watching him pick his way through this field as he has a teammate get into him there. The 5-car sideways, and now 3 wide through 3 and 4. Was watching this 5-car work his way methodically up to the top 10, but now contact with a teammate. The 35 of Austin Thomas, who has front end damage, just got into him. The 3 wide again just behind him. Jesse Gordon gets through that. Philbrick, Picklesheimer, and Fitzsimmons falling back through this field. It is a cluster of cars back here. This is on board with Fitzsimmons in the 88. Currently riding in 16th position. Fitzsimmons started in 6th spot. He's had a rough go at it. Had contact just a moment ago with a 38 of Nathan Line. Somebody else that's having a really rough one. That's the 35 of Austin Thomas. Thomas is hemorrhaging positions because of that damage. You can see on the front end of that machine. Caved in, almost makes contact with Pennington. It looks like it's affecting the handling as it looks like Thomas is going to push up the racetrack into the 40 car. Caution is out again. Fred Pennington, innocent on the outside line. The 35 moved up the racetrack and got into him. It already kind of door checked him once, moves up again into him. I'm going to watch this one more time, try to do this justice. You can see he's pushing up the racetrack. He already made door contact with him once. Pennington still running his line, and then the 35 moved up again. We go back to our live shot here. We've got Fred Pennington on pit road right now in the number 40. The slightly dangerous racing. We're going to move Pennington up here into the broadcast booth while we have a moment. Fred Pennington, it's Bradley Cooper in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy with us?
Yes, I do.
Well, Fred, what's your take on that? I know there was some contact going into 3, but it looked like you held your line. What was your experience?
I feel like I did. I may have came down on him. I'm not sure. He may have came up on me. In my point of view, I felt like he came up on me. Me and him was just discussing it there just a second ago. He said he was going to look at the replay and let me know. We'll see how it goes. I didn't mean to do Austin that way if that was my fault, but I think I held my line. I think he may have came up. What did you see up there in the broadcast booth?
Well, from my point of view, it looked like initially into 3, he definitely came up the racetrack, but then it was kind of a meet in the middle there off of 4. You held your line, maybe pinched down a little bit there, but that seam, you were still above it. He was riding it, just maybe a racing deal in the aftermath, but yeah. Initially the contact, I know the 35 of Thomas had a lot of damage.
Yeah, I do too. I got 7 minutes worth, and I hate to do that to anybody if that was my fault. I also didn't know that he had a car below him. He told me he had a car below him. I didn't know we were 3 wide there either, so I probably would have gave him a little bit more room had I known that. But I hate that this early. Sure wouldn't want to do that to Austin by no means, and hopefully.
Well, Fred, I know that you've been participating in this league, and you've had some moments up here in the top 3 a few times. It's going to be a long road, but I think you can get this car back to health, back on the racetrack.
No, I'll get it back on the track, but I'm not going to be on no top nothing this race. I'm just going to be struggling to get it fixed and trying to stay out of people's way and just turn some laps here.
Well, just keep fighting, and you never know what can happen here. I'm sorry if I distracted you and put you another lap down there. I know damage repair, you're going to have to wait here. But, yeah, appreciate you coming up here and talking to us. We'll let you focus in. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. You didn't cause no problem at all. I appreciate you, and I appreciate the work you do. Thank you.
Slightly dangerous racing driver Fred Pennington going back out on the racetrack. Going to try to salvage the day here in the last race of the regular season. But it's a tough break for both those drivers. And, you know, Fred is a good guy. I've talked to him post-race quite a few times. He's one of the few guys that no matter what happens to him in the scenario of every race, it seems like even when he's having a good day, something happens to him and he never takes it out on anybody. Always a nice guy to talk to. So hopefully he can get this car back up to health. But we had a little flip here with pit stops and a few drivers staying out. Christian Ruckriegel, Johnny DePasquale, Dylan Picklesheimer, Finley Fitzsimmons. You add Nathan Line to that list. The top 5 stayed out. 11 to 19 laps on the stint. And it's Christian Ruckriegel with the lead. DePasquale going to pitch him here. They're going to touch doors. Back underway at Kentucky. It was strategy last week. Will it be strategy again for Ruckriegel? Picklesheimer moves to the bottom, up to second. Fitzsimmons falling back. Here comes Alan Dobbs, the dominant car of the day, working his way through this traffic. Little contact between the 1 and the 88, the 54 able to avoid it, but he gets the 110 to the inside, bumps through the tri-oval. And that's why you'll never see these guys really commit to cutting that tri-oval. It is bumpy down there, and the 110 lost a lot of ground. Car on the wall. That's Johnny DePasquale. We're going to stay green. Instant replay here with the 1. A pinch here into 1 and 2. DePasquale gets the worst end of it. Caution is out now, though. And it looks like maybe Al Likens. Not happy about it. Here's a contact. Looks like the 5 of Wisnowski in the aftermath, but let's dial this back a little bit more. See if we can get a better look at what happened to the 3 car. He's going to go to the inside of the 5. He's down on the bottom. Slides up in front of him. 5 of Wisnowski gets into the back. And there was Picklesheimer down on the apron as well. He lost a ton of ground here. But let's take it on board with the 5. Here's the send to the inside. Wisnowski back on the gas a little bit early compared to the 3. And that makes sense. Likens all the way down on the bottom of the racetrack, but he was in front of the 5. So at that point, it's up to Wisnowski to stay off the back end of him and we also have something else to unpack, because everybody was able to avoid the 3-car. Phenomenal job by all these drivers. But let's look back here with Dylan Picklesheimer. He was competing for the lead with Ruck Regal. And here's the contact. Ruck Regal back to the throttle a little early. Got the 9 loose. He chases it down the racetrack. You can see Likens in the background there sideways. But there's Picklesheimer, who almost went around just prior to that spin from the 3. The 8 of Austin Dowdy on pit road. The 85 of Wyatt Walker. Johnny DePasquale on pit road as well. There's Fred Pennington. A look at him. Jeremiah Nelson back out on the racetrack. He had problems very early in this race. The 84 of John Walker. Nathan Line back out there as well. And Austin Thomas, damage on the nose of that machine. I would bring that down pit road. It's Ruck Regal for another restart. Alan Dobbs is going to be to his outside for this one. This is about an 18-lap advantage on the tires, but Dobbs taking 2 the last time we were down pit road. Ruck Regal, Dobbs, Fitzsimmons, Gordon, and Otto. The top 5 was Wisnowski, Caldwell, Pena, and Stewart. Burlington holding on to the edge of the top 10 for this one. Lap 65 about to be underway. Around 60 laps to go in race 13. Likens, one of the cars that was dominant at the start of this race, back to 15th position. Can he salvage his day back to the podium? Can Ruck Regal hold off Dobbs? Green flag. Let's find out. Back underway. Lap 65 at Kentucky. Great restart here for Ruck Regal. It's going to be a big run here off of turn 4. Dobbs on 2 tires, though. It slowed him up a little bit. Chris Otto on 4. There's a few drivers in this top 5 that have 4 tires. Nicholas Caldwell creeping into the picture. Here he comes. Under attack. Here comes the 5 at Wisnowski. 3 wide into 3. Ruck Regal holding him off for now. Gordon into the wall off of turn 4. Fitzsimmons still loses the spot. Here comes Chris Otto for the 4th position. Gonna look for more. Gonna look for 3rd. He'll get it from the 110. Ruck Regal makes a little mistake out of 4. That'll allow Dobbs to the inside. Dobbs leads that time by. Can he clear him? Into 1, he will. So look on board with Dobbs, who's led the most laps today. Chris Otto might have something to say about it, though. in these closing laps. Sitting around 55 left. Move to the inside for the 45. He's going to send it all the way down here into 3 and 4. Ruck Regal holding him down on the corner exit. They touch doors for second. Close battle through 1 and 2. All the way around for this mile and a half. As Chris Otto tries to find a way to clear the 33. Still can't do it. Really sends it into 3 and 4. Pena battling with the 11 of Caldwell. They make contact. The 50 and the 11, the 45 and the 33. Top 5 all over the place. Pena clears the 11 into 1. Dobbs takes over the lead, and he might just run away with it, but Otto was able to get around Ruck Regal. We're about to find out if 4 tires can get the job done in these closing laps. Pena putting the pressure on the 110. He's going to get loose off of 2. Just gets the nose to the outside of Jesse Gordon. But a slight little connection error there for the 50. And here comes Ruck Regal back on offense off of 4. Top 5 could throw a blanket over it. Jumping back up for second, 3 wide off of 3 and 4. Otto, Ruck Regal, Gordon, and even Pena in this battle. Nicholas Caldwell on the back bumper of the 50. Kudos to Ruck Regal for keeping this car up in the top 3 and battling as hard as he has. Again, he has a disadvantage on tires. You can look at the last pit lap for Ruck Regal, lap 40. About 18 laps difference. And he's still able to hold up there with these guys. Way up the racetrack for Pena. Battle for 5th back underway. Caldwell couldn't get the job done there out of 4. Down the backstretch, this is back in the 12th position. Burlington and Picklesheimer. You're also watching the 3 of Likens work his way back into the top 10. Really tight there off of 4. Almost got into the wall. Alan Dobbs in the clean air, holding off on Chris Otto. With the 45 car last time by, matched his lap times. Otto on 4 tires. Pushing way up the racetrack, 33 of Ruck Regal almost got into the wall. with Jesse Gordon to the inside into one. Third spot for the 110. He'll clear off of turn 2. Nicely done there for Jesse Gordon. Pena opens up the door into 3. He's going to look for the 4th spot. Nothing to it right now. The 11 almost able to gain to the outside. Every time Pena tries to make a move, he ends up losing ground. And this will open up the door for Nicholas Caldwell. A pinch here from Ruck Regal. Side by side again. Again, though, for Ruck Regal, these older tires, that's just impressive what he's been able to do. A crossover move, he's going to push to the inside of Pena. Defense there from the 50. Watch a side-by-side between Fitzsimmons and Wisnowski. Car on the wall, that was the 11. Fred Pennington out ahead of this field right now. Leaders are going to go by on the outside as Pennington dives down to the inside line. Gonna have to hold it down there. He'll allow everybody by. Another lap down, though, for Fred Pennington. 24th position. The gap's starting to grow. 3/10 on lap 84. Dobbs showing clean air. Doing what he needs to do. On board with the 54 machine. 40 laps left from Kentucky. So looking on board with Nicholas Caldwell, one of the biggest movers in this top 10. He's tied for 8 positions gained. Ethan Wisnowski, the biggest mover so far in the race. He's up 13 spots. You can see here on board as you watch Nicholas Caldwell try to clear the 33 of Ruck Regal. Not able to do so that time by. Had the top 5 for a moment. So the gap to the lead shortens up here. Chris Otto into the wall. Otto was gaining some ground in 3. That slight brush with the wall is going to set him back a couple tenths and put him in the reach of Jesse Gordon. He's going to brush the wall again. Off of 4. Mitchell Costner, there's the 9 of Picklesheimer. This is for the top 10. The 9 car back up to 10th now, and I could say confidently this is one of the guys that you should look out for when we go playoff racing. 13 spots. One more in front of him with Wisnowski as he is tied for the most positions gained. Dobbs not able to run away as far as last time. $35 left. Remember last week at Darlington, Dobbs started out hot, got the stage win, but a strategy flip put the 54 outside of the top 5, and it was the turn 1 Tsunamis drivers that ended up with the strategy to win the race. But Austin Thomas in 11th now. Still has a little bit of that nose damage. Thomas down low for the top 10. Doing what he needs to do. Off of turn 4, it looks like the 35's got it. Car is back in a relatively good shape. Not scrubbing a lot of that straightaway speed. Another driver that we could check in on is Al Likens, car that led some laps to begin this race. He has Finley Fitzsimmons, giving him some pressure here to the inside. Fitzsimmons into turn 1 will drive deep. Almost able to clear, and a crossover off of turn 2. Likens not going to give up this spot easily. We're back on board with Likens and what he's had to do after this spin a moment ago. He's clawed his way back into the top 10, but it seems like the car a little bit used up now at this point. I don't know if he has anything for this top 5. He had to gain a lot. He used the car up quickly to get up here to 8th. Maybe hoping for another caution. And another wall tag for the 110 and the 45, following each other up there. 28 to go, 29 to go. Pena battling with the 11 of Caldwell again. Field very spread out. 24 cars, 25 cars started this race. Wyatt Walker back out on the racetrack here in the 85. Running in the 21st position. Last car on the lead lap. On your screen. And on the clutch pedal. Austin Dowdy back there as well. Jeremiah Nelson. You can see Fred Pennington racing around this place. The only car still on pit road is Wyatt Walker, or John Walker rather, in the 84. So 24 cars still on the racetrack. "25 laps to go here from Kentucky. Sizing up to be a great finish with Chris Otto, Jesse Gordon, Christian Ruckriegel, and Nicholas Caldwell in your top 5. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take you side by side, non-stop action, and then uninterrupted coverage all the way to the finish of this race. You are watching the QSR Next Gen Cup Series regular season finale from Kentucky Speedway.
Walking and rolling costume started when my son Reese was born with cancer.
So when I was 3 years old, I got my first wheelchair.
And he wanted to be Wall-E for Halloween that year. And so I knew you couldn't buy a costume to go on a wheelchair at that time. So I knew I had to build one.
My dad ended up building a Wall-E costume out of a Dell computer box.
When we were all finished, he loved it. We took pictures of it and shared it on social media. So many people started sharing it that we started getting requests from people we didn't know.
In 2015, we decided to build them for other kids because people were asking, hey, can you build them for my kid?
So we started the nonprofit organization, Walking and Rolling Costumes, and we build costumes for kids all over the nation, free of charge to the families.
Is going to take the victory 128 laps without a pit stop.
Donnie Kite's going to get through it all and score his first career win.
Saturday Night Racing League and throwback at Charlotte goes to Josh Adams.
Racing isn't easy.
Back here to our live coverage on lap 105. The caution comes out, and it looks like Jesse Gordon may be involved in something. We're going to take it back on a V-Speed instant replay and see if we can find what happened to the 110. And it looks like he was trying to come to pit road. Goes sideways, across the tri-oval. Enough to trigger a caution here. I'm curious to see. Oh, he had contact with the 33 of Ruckriegel. He was chasing this car all the way down to the bottom of the racetrack. Let's see if we can get another look at it here. Ruckriegel in the closing speed runs into the left rear of him. And the 110 did a great job of trying to save it. Almost had it. think at that point I would have driven down pit road and asked for a black flag to be cleared. But he was voluntold to hit pit road. And here's a look on board with the 33. Let's try this one more time. And when we go back to our live shot here, we've got a couple cars staying out, but Alan Dobbs down pit road, and it's Davis Greenwell up to the front. Down and away, maybe some two-tire calls here. Nicholas Caldwell down and out in the 11. Dobbs on 4 fresh ones. Galen Wunsch with topping off, just taking fuel only. Tristan Pena, 2 tires. Top 5 for the 50. A lot of different strategies here for the end of this one. It's Nicholas Caldwell who's going to lead him out of pit road. We saw it earlier. It worked pretty well for the 54 machine. And we'll bring up Nicholas Caldwell into the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
What's up, dude?
Well, it worked pretty well for your teammate earlier in the 54. He was able to hold on to the lead. You've got some other strategies in front of you with Davis Greenwell staying out, and I would assume you'll be able to clear him. He has 44 laps on the tires. But you also have some guys back here that took 4 tires with your teammate Alan Dobbs. You also have Ethan Wisnowski, Chris Otto. What's your take on this 2-tire call?
Yeah, I think we're just trying to do something different. I don't think I'll win the race doing this, but hey, you got nothing to lose. Why not try it?
Nothing to lose here. Started in 14th. You've had a solid day up in the top 10 for most of this, even flirting with the top 5 a lot of it. Doubling back up. Good luck, man. Anybody want to shout out real quick while we got you?
Yeah, I got AMPM on the car right here. Shout out to Alan Dobbs. He's definitely going to win this race. And thanks to you for the broadcast, and thanks to Quentin for everything he does.
NCR driver Nicholas Caldwell, team owner, going to be on the outside of Davis Greenwell for this restart. Good luck.
Appreciate it.
So there's Nicholas Caldwell, and as we rack him back up, getting ready back to go back green. I'd say this is a pretty gutsy call here from the 20 car. He started in 17th. Even if he salvages the top 10, it was a positive day. Let's see if he can get it done. We have under 20 to go. So get set to go back green. Pace truck going to get out of the way. Your stage 1 winner, Alan Dobbs, on the inside in row number 2. Galen Wunsch on the outside in 4th position. Green flag back underway at Kentucky in the closing laps of the regular season. And we've got a lot of 3 wide in the back of the pack here, middle of the pack. Wunsch into the wall. Likens, the 5 of Wisnowski's around. Wisnowski and the 45 of Chris Otto make contact on the backstretch. And Ethan Wisnowski, after success last week, facing the wrong way into turn 3. Watching here from our blimp camera, the 5 down low. There's Galen Wunsch. There were 3 wide. Wisnowski cuts up in front of the 45. Was not clear. Chris Otto was there. And with the 5 car, that was just a kind of an error maybe on iRacing. We'll have to get his take on that. Cars to his inside, car to his outside, and ends up going for a loop to the outside wall. And we're going to approach 10 to go when we go back green. Davis Greenwell loving what he sees. But it was Alan Dobbs, when that caution fell, got the position over Nicholas Caldwell. Caldwell back to third. Tristan Pena has a real opportunity here at a podium finish. He's proven to be up here in the top 4, especially on the short run. This one should fit in his wheelhouse. 2 tire stop for Caldwell and Pena. 4 tires for Dobbs. It's 4 tires back here with Fitzsimmons, Likens, Costner. Likens back up to 6th. Let's see if we can dial up one of these drivers again here. It's hard to find Al Likens in the Discord, so we won't have an opportunity to get a chat with him. Race truck still out on the racetrack. It's Tristan Pena moving up to the outside as we double back up. So I was going to try to pull Likens up here and see if maybe he felt he could get back to the podium in these closing laps. It'll be 12 to go when we go back green. Davis Greenwell leading his first laps of the night on much older tires. 5 laps led now. Can he hang on to it? Of course, our camera packs provided here by Dougie Beard. You can find us at VSpeedSim on X, vspeedsim.com. And go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You'll never miss a single race for QSR Next Gen Cup Series action. We conclude the regular season. We're flirting with overtime here at Kentucky. Race 13 was a clean first stage. Alan Dobbs got it. 9 lead changes, 7 cautions. Can 4 tires get around the 49 50-lap-old tires of Davis Greenwell? He's going to try to get another great restart. Back underway. 13 to go of the regular season. The 11 to the inside of his teammate. He's going to send it into turn 1 all over the back bumper of Greenwell. And here comes the 88 of Fitzsimmons. Gonna look 3 wide. Way up the racetrack for the 3 of Likens. He's trying the outside line. He's going to wall ride around the corner. Falls back to 10th. Austin Thomas to the top 10. But the battle for the lead, still hot. 1/10 of a second. A lot of movement in the background back here. Picklesheimer. Contact with the 9, the 50, the 38 back into the top 10. 3 wide. Picklesheimer and Jesse Gordon make contact. 5th back to 10th is a Hornet's Nest. Dobbs on the outside for the lead. Some damage on the front end of Likens. He was way up the racetrack. I think that car got tight. He's fighting with Burlington right now for 12th. Gonna stay on the outside off of turn 2. That straightaway speed just not in that car anymore. Up ahead of this, you have 7th place up for grabs with Picklesheimer, Costner. You put Thomas Gordon, Nathan Lyne sideways off of turn 4. 38 car down in the grass. Heavy damage off the turn 4 wall. Falls back to 19th. 3 wide into 3 and 4. Costner on the bottom. Thomas in the middle. There's Picklesheimer up high. Thomas up to 6th. But Alan Dobbs getting the spot. Caldwell up to 2nd. There's the battle from 5th on back. Tristan Pena has locked himself into the top 5. If we can run this thing out, contact with the 35 and the 9. Picklesheimer able to clear. Opens up the door for Jesse Gordon. Another position gain for the 110. He's had to do this a couple times tonight. It's Simmons looking to the inside of Greenwell. Could be a podium finish for the 88. Tags the apron. Slides up in front of the 20. Moves him up the racetrack. Greenwell gives him enough room. Ruck Regal to the inside of Gordon. 5 to go at the stripe. And we still have 3 wide off of 4. Some of these drivers that tried to pull strategies falling through. Likens now fighting with Otto. Looks like Likens going to continue to hammer some positions here. Tough break for him. He had a podium car. And it looks like Picklesheimer has a problem here through the backstretch. Thomas is caught up to Pena. Pena going to defend the 5th position. Keeps the 35 behind him. Costner looking to the inside. 4 laps to go at Kentucky. 4 laps left in the regular season. In a side-by-side effort. As Thomas gets to the outside, he'll pass the 50, but not clear him. Fitzsimmons pulls away. 3 laps left. Half a second separate the 1st and 2nd position between teammates for Nicholas Caldwell Racing. But the battle's back here in the 5th spot. Continue. Pena backing up the corner to try to get a run. Not enough there out of 4. And now Ruck Regal will go by. Pena's going to lose 2 spots here. He's going to fall back to 8th. Jesse Gordon on the high line. Pena on 2 tires. Doesn't look like it's working out for him. It worked really well for Dobbs. It's working well for Caldwell. Another move for position. White flag in the air. One more time around here for QSR Next Gen in the Cup Series action of the regular season. Coming down to a driver that's looking to get to victory lane for the 3rd time. Your defending champion is going to come off at turn 4. And Alan Dobbs, your stage winner, your pole sitter, the most laps led, and now the race win. Alan Dobbs in victory lane at Kentucky. Caldwell holds on for third, and it's Finley Fitzsimmons that brings it home in the third spot, second spot to Nicholas Caldwell. Alan Dobbs, the trifecta, the pole, the stage, and the race win. He is going to be tough to beat for this championship. Those race interviews with your top three, those final race results. Alan Dobbs victorious. We'll get a word with him in just a moment. You're watching QSR Next Gen Cup Series live on V-Speed.
Walking and rolling costume started when my son Reese was born with cancer.
So when I was 3 years old, I got my first wheelchair.
And he wanted to be Wall-E for Halloween that year. And so I knew you couldn't buy a costume to go on a wheelchair at that time. So I knew I had to build one.
My dad ended up building a Wall-E costume out of a Dell computer box.
When we were all finished, he loved it. We took pictures of it and shared it on social media. So many people started sharing it that we started getting requests from people we didn't know.
In 2015, we decided to build them for other kids because people were asking, hey, can you build them for my kid?
So we started the nonprofit organization, Walking and Rolling Costumes, and we build costumes for kids all over the nation, free of charge to the families.
Takes the victory 128 laps without a pit stop.
Donnie Kite's gonna get through it all and score his first career win.
Saturday Night Racing League and throwback at Charlotte goes to Josh Adams.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to our coverage post-race and post-season. Official, the regular season is over, and Alan Dobbs adds his third victory here in QSR Simulations Next Gen Cup Series. Welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper, and we have a top three to talk to in just a moment for the Turn 1 Tsunamis Kentucky 190. But there's your stage winner, Alan Dobbs, with 10 lead changes, 7 cautions here tonight. It was clean and green for the first 37 laps. And then things kind of fell apart there on the second stage. Lap 2 of the second stage, things got pushed around and a couple drivers involved. And it ends up with 23 cars on the lead lap to finish this one out here tonight. But here's the final race results on your screen. Alan Dobbs starting on the pole, Nicholas Caldwell and Finley Fitzsimmons, the top three. We're going to work with those drivers in just a moment's time. Davis Greenwell will round out on 4th position. He stayed out on 62-lap-old tires. Excellent job there to keep that car up in the top 5. Austin Thomas will get 5th position here tonight. Christian Ruck-Regal in the 6th spot. Jesse Gordon 7th. Tristan Pena falls back to 8th with Dylan Picklesheimer in 9th after starting in 23rd. Dylan Picklesheimer going to gain 14 spots for driver of the day. Rounding out your top 10, though, is Mitchell Koster in the number 92. Then it's Quentin Stewart, QSR CEO, in 11th. Ryan Philbrick will finish in 12th. You have Wyatt Walker in 13th position. 14th going to Chris Otto in the 45. Got close to the lead there. Was running top 3 for a moment. Galen Wunsch finishing in 15th. Quiet night for the 15th place finisher. Started back in 24th. Tony Burlington will finish 16th. Nathan Line 17th. Johnny DePasquale had damage. He'll finish 18th, as did Al Likens. He was the top 3 car. He started in 2nd. He'll finish 19th. Austin Dowdy had damage and brought it down pit road several times tonight. Raced his way back to the lead lap, but he'll finish out in 20th. Ethan Wisnowski in the top 10 for a few moments there. He's going to end up finishing 21st with a late race caution. 75 and 22nd of William Gay. Jeremiah Nelson, very early exit to this race. Fred Pennington had damage, and John Walker behind the wall, 81 laps down. So now it's time to talk to your race winner, and we've had him up here in the booth a few times this season. It'll be the 3rd time we talk to Alan Dobbs in the number 54, ending the regular season on a high note. And Dobbs, we talked to you there at Darlington in the pre-race, and maybe that was a bad omen. So I left you alone. I know you were having success here tonight. It all came to fruition, the trifecta here to end the regular season.
Yeah, I thought we were going to get in trouble there at the end when that final caution came out. Got
that final
made us get back up there, but
that final caution was kind of the flip side of the strategy. You had taken 2 tires to kind of run your race to the end there, probably around 50 or 60 to go. Could have made it on fuel, but then the situation changes again. You bring it back down pit road. You take your last tire set. What a gamble, and you just had to pray that everybody was on the same page.
yeah, I knew that. I mean, I went in with the lead, so I knew that everybody that took 2 tires wasn't going to be able to get around me, but I knew that some people were definitely going to take 2. I would have taken 2 there at the end if it hadn't have been for the fact that I accidentally took 2 before that long run. So I wasn't too confident on my left side's abilities to stay intact there, but it worked out. I think I only lost 1 position. Someone on 2 tires managed to get by them on the restart. All in all, it was a good race.
And then we go back to that stage win, starting on the pole. None of this was a give me. You had Al Likens competing with you at the beginning of this race. You guys went side by side for about 30 laps back and forth. Was that a little out of the ordinary? Were you not expecting that?
I mean, I honestly kind of expected it. I was really just trying to save my tires so that I would hopefully be the fastest person at the end of the stage. And it seemed like he was, just pushing a little bit harder, trying to get up there into the clean air, and it worked. But then he fell back off a little bit, and I was able to get back around him like I had hoped, planned to work out. I'm just glad, cautions didn't come out and really ruin that strategy.
Alan, you add your third win to the column, and now the bonus points, the reset, and we put you on the top spot. Congratulations on being the regular season champion and going into the playoffs at Las Vegas next week with a pretty sizable lead. Congratulations again. Anybody want to shout out while we have you here?
Yeah, just shout out as always to my beautiful wife, all the guys at NCR, the admins here, Tier 1 setups, Redline Racing Network, V-Speed for the broadcast, everybody that came out and raced, and everybody that's watching at home. Appreciate all you guys.
Alan Dobbs, no stranger to victory lane. We'll see you at the next intermediate, Las Vegas in the desert.
Thanks, man. Have a good one.
Moving back one position to our runner-up finisher, Nicholas Caldwell. It's been a minute since I've had a chance to talk to you, but Nick, you definitely pulled a strategy. This car started back in 14th. It was kind of struggling in the top 10 and the top 5. You had your moments where I think on the short run you were able to race your way up there, but once you got to that position, it was like the car just fell off. So congrats on getting the podium and mixing this up, doing something different.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I actually had no intention on taking tires until Dobbs said something right as we hit the commitment cone, and I was like, why not? We'll try something different. But other than that, yeah, I think we were just a little tight there on that last run. I couldn't charge the corner the way I wanted to, but those last 5 laps, me and Dobbs basically ran the same lap time every time. So I'll take that. I can't qualify for shit. So I knew we were going to start in the back. When we won this race last season, we kind of started in the same spot, but kind of slowly worked our way up through there. I basically judged my pace off of whatever Quentin was doing because I knew no matter what, if I was within a half a second of him, I'd get that spot at the end of the run. So the first stage was pretty good, and then missed my pit stall there at the end of the stage, and then had to start back in 13th and drove back to like 6th or 7th, and then somebody wrecked the hell out of somebody, and then kind of started that last run. So, but, super excited. That was a good run. Super looking forward to Vegas, and hopefully we can get back in this full time next season and be in contention for the championship again.
Yeah, you definitely were a contender last season, and we saw races with you up front. I believe it was Pocono that you got the victory last season. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but just a lot going on here. I know that you pride yourself in the team and the people that you've surrounded yourself with. So go ahead and shout those guys out. I know you got a teammate up there in victory lane as well.
Yeah, I think we got a pretty good pick in Alan Dobbs. He's been the class of the field in every league I've run in for the past 4 or 5 years. But yeah, just the whole group at NCR, we've been, I can't speak for Dobbs, but the rest of our group doesn't seem to have that many incidents on track. But looking forward to it. Like I said, next season we'll get a win here in the next couple playoff races, both Dobbs and myself. So it'll be a good time.
Nicholas Caldwell, runner-up here at Kentucky. Aim for 14th position to bring it home in second. We'll see you next week at Las Vegas.
See you, brother.
And finally, that brings us to our third place finisher, and it's a V-Speed first here with Finley Fitzsimmons in the number 88. Well, I gotta say, you worked every adaptation of this strategy to keep this car up here. Every time something would happen, you would do the right call, put this car back up on the top 5. And with those final 7 or 8 laps, you race your way up here to the podium. Congratulations on your, first interview here at QSR.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
Well, Finley, let's go back to the beginning of this race. You started in 6th, and then it seemed like the car early on in the run didn't handle the way it did in practice. I don't know what your opinion is on that, but a lot of guys were complaining that this car was not driving the same. What's your take?
No, it was definitely pushing a little bit more, and it was difficult to maybe keep pace with the guys in front. I thought I was trying to save some tyres, but I figured out quite early on that the drop-off wasn't too heavy. So basically I just saved a bit too much, and the car, it was feeling a little bit weird. Wasn't quite right, so it just took a while to get used to that and then start running in, which we did near to the end of the race. Especially in that second stint, we did bits there when we were on the older tyres. But we figured it out, and we made it work.
one of the things I like to do here at QSR. I've been around here for, I believe, 4 seasons now, is get to know some of these guys. And you're part of the Turn 1 Tsunamis group now, correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
Well, I got to say, there's no better group to hang out with post-race. So you're definitely in for some great company. I know those guys are crazy. They've sponsored a lot of the races here in this series as well. It's been going on successfully for a while, and it's good to have you to the family.
Thank you very much, man. It's much appreciated. And yeah, we'll definitely have some fun tonight.
Well, you put this car up on the podium. You did a fantastic job, like I said, adapting to what this race threw at you. Clean and green for the first stage. Little chaotic there in the second stage, but you kept it up front and kept it clean. Who do you have to thank for that?
Great thank you to obviously Austin for letting me know about the league and giving me the opportunity. Thanks to you guys in the broadcast booth as always for putting on a great show, and the admins as well for putting on a great league that we have tonight.
Finley Fitzsimmons, 3rd place. Congratulations. We'll see you next week at Las Vegas.
Thank you very much. See you.
Driver of the 88, bringing it home top 3, and first V-Speed post-race interview for that driver. We've got a lot of racing left to be done, but that's going to conclude it here. Kentucky put on a fantastic show. 125 laps. Turn 1 Tsunamis, thank you for sponsoring tonight's event, but we've got postseason coming up. Strap in as the drivers for the top 12 get ready to duel. It's elimination now. And coming up next, it's time to roll some dice. Las Vegas Motor Speedway, the Mojave Desert, 1.5 miles of 23 degrees of banking. You can catch that at 8:30 p.m. or 8 p.m. Eastern Time here on V-Speed. For everybody at QSR, Quentin Stewart, the admin team that helped make this possible, Adam Baker in the background doing what he does to make this broadcast look good, Dougie Beard providing our cameras here tonight, our other owners, Eddie Smith and Morgan Cook. This is Bradley Cooper saying so long from Kentucky. We'll see you in 7 days. Till then, stay tracking, everybody.
I just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your